Magic 8-Ball horror film, Spider Baby Remake wraps filming, and Joe Spinell's Maniac character slashes back into the comic world, all on this Monday edition of Spill the Guts.
I like it spooky.
Hello and welcome. My name is Clint, and I am one-third of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, which brings you a featured news, reviews, interviews, and entertainment show every other week, like the latest episode released yesterday that features an interview with Scream magazine writer Brian Clark and a discussion of the 1974 film Demoniacs. I am also your gut-spilling, news-slinging host here on your tri-weekly Horror News Blitz roundup every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Spill the Guts. I hope everyone had a relaxing weekend out there, but it's time to get back into the grind of another week, as today is Monday, July 10th, and this just in. iHorror.com kicks off our news this week with a story that there is a Magic 8-Ball film on the way, and it will be penned by the writer of Cocaine Bear. Around the same time that Ouija became a film, the rights from Magic 8-Ball had also been purchased to adapt the toy into a horror film. It's been a whole 4 years since that was announced, so it was tough to tell if the project was still in the works. But according to The New Yorker, it is decidedly so that the film is still happening. In fact, Cocaine Bear screenwriter Jimmy Warden is attached to turn the popular family toy into a horror comedy. As previously announced, the Magic 8-Ball film will come from Blumhouse and Jeff Wadlow. There is no word if this project is in any relation to the short horror film Magic 8-Ball from ACM Official that is currently viewable on their YouTube channel. Regardless, we can't wait to see what a Magic 8-Ball horror movie looks like or what kind of monsters come along with it. But perhaps the most important point to hit on is that a film about an 8-ball is being written by the writer of Cocaine Bear.
This cannibal orgy is strange to behold, and the maddest story ever told.
The maddest story ever told has now been retold, as RueMorgue.com reports that director Dustin Ferguson has announced that his redo of Jack Hill's 1967 cult classic Spider Baby, produced by SCS Entertainment, has completed principal photography in Los Angeles. The original included such talent as Lon Chaney Jr., Sid Haig, and Carol Omar, who you might recognize as Vincent Price's wife in the 1959 classic House on Haunted Hill. In this new version, Beverly Washburn, who portrayed Elizabeth in the original, returns to play a different role here, and the cast also includes Brink Stevens, Robert Mukes, Ron Chaney, Peter Stickles, Tracy Burr, Jennifer Moriarty, and Vida Ghaffari. Hill served as an executive producer on the film, with horror veteran Jeff Burr as a creative consultant. A brief synopsis of the film tells of a pair of greedy relatives that try to repossess the Marie estate, but the inbred children protect their home and bloodline at all costs. We've reached an exhilarating milestone with the completion of the Spider Baby remake, Ferguson says, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have worked with an extraordinary ensemble of genre stars. Their immense talent and commitment have breathed new life into this iconic story, infusing it with a fresh and captivating energy. I can hardly wait for audiences to experience the chilling world we've created when Spider Baby premieres. A teaser trailer for the remake is currently available on YouTube. And it is now time to pause for station identification and hear from our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Maniac, you can lock your doors, but you can't lock the madman
out of your mind.
Last story of the day hit my radar from a Facebook post from former Fangoria editor-in-chief Chris Alexander, who shared news that starting with issue number 2, he will be penning the newsletter inside the new line of Maniac comics from Ebion Press and Vinegar Syndrome Publishing. The film Maniac, co-written by and starring Joe Spinell, has been making people want to shower after watching it since its debut in 1980. The gritty New York slasher, directed by William Lustig, was adapted into a comic book series with a very limited copy release back in 2018. Now Ebion Press is releasing a brand new sleeve for Maniac issue number 1, which is part of the box set, which contains all 3 issues, all rebranded in new sleeves, and tons of extras, including an exclusive to the set making of issue, which is also sleeved with extras. This is actually the world premiere of the director's cut of the original Maniac series, with all new story pages that expand the whole thing with more insanity and more gore. And Maniac 2 is coming as well. Some of you may know that Maniac 2 was never even finished, so you'll get to see issue number 4 for the first time anywhere ever. This was a very special issue that was worked on for months, then was tragically shelved in 2022. But now you'll experience it in all of its gory glory. It's an incredible work of dark, over-the-top madness that exists on a whole new level of Ebion Press art and storytelling. And both the Maniac and Maniac 2 Roadkill single-issue box sets will be in the same 2-part interlocking collector's case. So keep an eye out at your local comic shop, at EbionPress.com and VinegarSyndrome.com for release and purchase info. And we have reached the end of another Monday edition of Spill the Guts. But before we part ways today, let me remind you that you can follow the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast on all major social media platforms and to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss a Spill the Guts news segment, Appendages Crackle and Redbox app movie streaming rundown, or semi-monthly feature episode. Regardless of how, when, where, and why you listen to any of the content we have to offer you, be sure to stop back by this coming Wednesday for more news on another edition of Spill the Guts.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?